Our next guest is redefining stay-at-home motherhood for women and families. Neha Ruch is the founder of The Power Pause, a platform dedicated to supporting ambitious women leaning into family life. And now she has a book by the same name, The Power Pause: How to Plan a Career Break After Kids and Come Back Stronger Than Ever. It is challenging the stereotypes about what it means to be a stay-at-home mom, and Neha joins us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So honestly, I'm too scared to stay at home with my kids. I gotta be here. But for women who do stay at home, there is a stigma in the world, right, that they face being a stay-at-home mom. Tell us about that.
So I came face to face with the stigmas around stay-at-home motherhood in 2016. I had my first son, and I wanted more time with him. And for a number of reasons, it made sense for our family. And as soon as I said I wanted to downshift, I heard, "Are you giving up? Are you gonna be bored? And did you waste your education?" And all of it pointed to these really old archetypes of what stay-at-home motherhood looks like. And now I've dug into the research, and 80% of at-home mothers feel misunderstood. And here's why. If you poll the American public as to who they think of when you ask them about a stay-at-home mother, they will still say June Cleaver, who's a fictional character from the 1950s show, Leave It to Beaver. If you ask them who they think of with a working mother, they will say Michelle Obama, Sheryl Sandberg, and Beyonce. That is a power chasm that is just so far from reality.
No doubt
it
about
doesn't do a service to the reality of modern women who are having kids later. So they've clocked in more education and work experience than generations prior. They have more hands-on partners. Dads are spending 3 times the amount of time with their kids than any generation prior. And they have access to digital tools, freelance, flexible work. So there's a far more fluid, vast in between. And when we step into that more fluid narrative, we let women pause with less of that shame and penalty.
And you wrote that caregiving is not a detour, it's a dimension. How has that reframing of the concept of caregiving helped shape your creativity and also your professional voice?
Well, we have this myth that our interests and our networks wilt in motherhood. But the reality is that you're taking all that incredible experience you've established in the workforce, and then you're adding a layer to it, right? And so in theory, when you're stepping in, if you can realize that you're also not just making room to raise your kids, but you're raising yourself alongside, then you can think about what interests me, what conversations are sparking my interest, what volunteer exercises are pushing me in new ways. By the way, the day-to-day of caregiving brings up so many problems that spark time management, efficiency, creativity.
Multitasking at the highest level.
And so these are all skills and interests we can take stock of. And then they tend to, if we are conscious of that growth, they start to point us in a direction where we might want to go next.
So, Neha, I was really intrigued by the chapter where you talk about grappling with guilt. And you write here that I can still summon the guilt I felt when I snapped at my son because I didn't have any childcare and thus had become a version of myself that I didn't recognize. So how do you advise moms to not fall into this guilt trap?
A lot of this starts with the finances, right? I think so many of us have conflated stay-at-home motherhood with luxury. 1 in 3 women are pausing their careers because of the cost of childcare. 60% because of financial considerations. And whether or not this is a financial no-brainer at all, what we're trying to say is caregiving has value and is actual work. And when you realize that, then you start realizing, well, wait a second, no one would be expected to work 24/7 without breaks. But so many of us, myself included, believed that if you don't do paid work, you don't deserve support. But we all deserve to be healthy and supported and whole parents. And I think the big reframe for me in that moment where I sort of released so much of my exhaustion on my family was to realize that childcare and help is an investment in the whole family dynamic.
It really is, and it helps you be the better parent. Absolutely. Neha, thank you so much. It really is so much work. Love this book. It's called The Power Pause, and it's on sale now.